Hey everybody, Angelo here. Welcome to another podcast. Let's talk about the difference between wanting versus feeling, and especially with sexuality, and especially after sex, how you feel versus what you wanted sex to accomplish. These two distinctions are the most powerful distinctions in sexuality that I've ever come across. And it's difficult to come into the feeling because a lot of our behaviors are guided by sexual fantasies, arousal, and the actual doing and the actual wanting and desiring. Social conditioning and demoralization in general in the gay culture sets into motion wants and desires that will conflict with positive emotions. And the way to test for that is to close your eyes after you have sex with someone and ask yourself, how do I really feel? That is one of the most beautiful aspects of how human beings have been designed, that it's a lot easier to corrupt your wants and your desires. It can be very difficult to corrupt your internal feelings. And that's why having this distinction between how you feel after sex versus what kind of sex do you really want is going to set you up on a path of alignment and not exposing yourself to sexuality that creates negative feelings, especially after he leaves or after sex is completed. So next time that you have sex, ask yourself, how do I feel? And allow the feeling to enter. And if you feel negative, if you feel something is wrong, allow that feeling to grow and allow a message to enter into your consciousness. And that message then can be used to align your wants and align your desires towards the kind of sexual behaviors that do not create negative feelings. This is, my friends, one of the most important advice I can share with you in the shortest amount of time about sexuality. Sex is infinitely complex. Sex is the mirror of our consciousness. But sex is not just sex. Sex also includes the emotions, the sensations that happen an hour after sex, a day after sex, sometimes even a week after sex has been completed. Because physical contact has significant ramifications on our consciousness. Sex doesn't end the moment that you have an orgasm, the moment that things seem to be completed. There is a lingering effect that's emotional. And that's the lingering effect that I'd like for you to expand on, to allow the emotion to settle and to provide you with enough materials so that you can align your sexual behaviors so that you feel good afterwards. This is going to be difficult because this really asks you to have emotional intelligence on a level that is pretty significant. Most men don't care how they feel after sex because they just want to get off. They just want to come and that's it. But if you allow yourself to feel, and if you pause into self-reflection after sex, you're going to realize that 90% of the sexual desires, 90% of the sexual wants create negative sensations after. And that's something that can be very easily tested the moment that you open up your heart, open up your emotions, that you discover whether there's shame, whether there's guilt, whether there are complex emotions that are negative that come to the surface when someone has sex with you and then he leaves. And that material, those emotions, is the substance out of which you can transform your perspectives on sexuality. This is what I have done in my life. I no longer have sex that creates those negative feelings. I don't have those negative lingers for weeks that take away my self-esteem. because they diminish my sense of self-worth by the virtue of repeating the sex and those negative feelings. So if you keep repeating sex and you are neglecting to notice the negative emotions that are happening afterwards, it will eventually take away your sense of self, your self-esteem, if this is repeated over and over and over. And this is why, in many cases, many gay men need more hardcore sex. More hardcore sex every year, even more hardcore, more volatile, more violent, and the sexual fantasies get more volatile, more violent, more brutal, because there's absence of emotion. There's absence of feeling, and there's suppression of feeling, and that suppression has to be stronger and stronger and stronger. And eventually, arousal does not involve any emotion at all. It only goes into the world of fantasy. And that's how the hardcore volatile sex has to be increased year after year after year. And that's, my friends, how many gay men become very unhealthy through sexual behavior. So distinguish between your wants and your desires and how you feel, and build a bridge so that the feelings after sex are more important than the sexual behavior that precedes that, and adjust the sexual behavior so that you almost exclusively have positive feelings. The best way to start is to reduce intercourse and focus on the soft core, if there's such a thing, soft core sex. And when you do soft core sex for a while, you will notice a difference in how you feel. It will be very different than the hardcore sex. And then develop your sexual recipe by taking that into account. I almost exclusively practice soft core, even the softest version of sexuality, which is very plain, very simple, very vanilla. I just want to be naked next to another man. That's all I need. I don't need extra this, that, or the other. I don't need some kind of performance act. I am not going to use you for an entertainment center on a sexual level, nor I am going to become anybody's entertainment center on a sexual level. Because I don't want that fragmentation to cause negative feelings after sex. So think about this. Curious to see your comments about this. Post your comments and your reflections, your comments below, and subscribe to my channel for more and more discussions like these. And those of you who want a real transformation of your personal life, please join us at the Big Gay Family Social Program. Visit the website biggayfamily.com and begin your transformation, my friends. So thank you for listening to the podcast. Enjoy the rest of the week or the rest of the weekend, depending on when you're listening to this. And I'm looking forward to talking to you in the next podcast. Okay, my friends, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.